welcome to episode 11 of the Outta Bounds podcast. Your boys are back. I go by the name of Ladale, the fashionista, manager editor here at True Culture Magazine. I'm here alongside the man in the middle. Last week we had a little issue. I got Donovan, the Dream Chaser was out there, but I paid a little ransom to get our boy back. But returned, I lost Kyrie. I lost Kyrie in the process.
Look, man, you can't have it both ways.
I know I can't have it both ways, so I'll try to work out something to get our boy Noah Austin, aka Mr. Euro, step to your girl, aka Third Eye Always Open. I'm looking to hopefully get him back next week. Actually, no, he will be back next week. But Donovan, introduce yourself to our returning subscribers and our new viewers for the first time.
Yeah, it's Donnie. I'm a journalist, mostly in sports and music over at True Urban Culture, and I'm also the co-host of Tuck Talk.
Yes, sir. And also, he's one of Donovan, like, I gotta give you your flowers, bro, because the Under the Radar column is it's a great column. It's one of the best columns in all of True Urban Culture and all of our platform. Please visit www.tuckmag.net. Some great articles on there. He's introduced me to so many great artists, people that I have on my rotation right now. So, and you wanted to know about the upcoming like musicians, like some dope sounds, like in the R&B genre and the pop genre, what case may be, then this man right here, Mr. Donnie Wilkins, he's the man. So check out Under the Radar for sure, and also check out his interviews as well for next up right here on this channel.
Also be on the lookout. Fingers crossed for our Spotify playlist to go with that column Under the Radar. So be on the lookout for that.
I like that. It's a great idea. And also, because I feel like we never really shout out our audio listeners out there that much because we're all about. Seem like we're always about YouTube, but we used to appreciate all you guys that support us on Podbean, also Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify at the Tuck Podcast Network. We give you everything here from the Outta Bounds podcast, the Tuck Talk podcast, which is our flagship podcast that Donovan is also a part of, and as well as the Gaming Chair podcast. But speaking of the Gaming Chair podcast, the Gaming Chair podcast going forward, we're gonna have a new system due to everybody's schedules, whereas we'll alternate between a podcast roundtable that will be uploaded on YouTube, or like a live gameplay playthrough on Twitch. So if you are not subscribed to our Twitch channel, the link to our Twitch will be in the description box below. It's the Tuck, the Gaming Chair _pod. That's what it is. But so just look out for the links to that in the chat below. We hope you guys will join us over on Twitch. But I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to be back as far as like podcasting. We haven't recorded anything since this past Monday. The reasons for that will be discussed tomorrow on Tuck Talk. So you're a listener, an avid viewer, listen what case may be to the Tuck Talk podcast, and look out for the reason in there. I'll basically get into it doing our mental check-in segment. I'm good right now, but last week I had some things I need to address, but I will definitely talk about that a bit more tomorrow on Tuck Talk. But now with that said, welcome our new viewers once again. Welcome to all of our returning subscribers. I love you all. Appreciate you all. Right now, we're on the road to we're really at basically toward the finish line of our road to our first 100 subscribers. We only need like a few more, like at least at the time this recorded, 7 more to get to our first 100. I'm very proud that we've only been doing this for like about 2.5 months now to see the progress that we've made in a short period of time. It's just amazing. I know that this is just the start of something that's going to be bigger than what we could have ever anticipated or could ever imagine. And we appreciate you guys joining us on this journey from day one. And for those of you that's discovering us for the first time here, we hope that you enjoy the ride, or that you like, share, subscribe to this channel. Also comment down below your thoughts, good or bad. We'll take it. We'll take the good with the bad. We just want to improve, give you guys the best that we possibly could get. And although we're not at full strength today, we're going to give you our best, and we're going to hopefully pull out a W. Right, Donnie?
Yeah, 100%.
100%. That's for those of you that also don't know. That's his thing. 100%. We got a guy. No, also his thing is the third eye. Me, I'm just like I'm the OG. The oldest guy here, so to speak. The history buff. To keep everybody in line with sports history and all that. But speaking of dubs, the Phoenix Suns are one W away from advancing to the NBA Finals. Right now they're currently
Yeah.
up 3-1 against the LA Clippers. Granted, the Clippers kind of like us. They're not operating at full strength. No Kawhi Leonard, but they had opportunities to win the last two games with Paul George. Playoff P has turned as how does Shannon Sharp call it? Like pandemic P or something like that. Which I
Yeah.
think that's hilarious. So right now, man, like game at the time of this recording, game 5 of the Western Conference Finals has not been played this year. But once this episode is uploaded, the game results will be finalized. But let's just give a little quick prediction here. Like as far like, do we believe that the Phoenix Suns close it out tonight, Don?
Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind that they absolutely close it out. If Chris Paul is healthy, I'm not sure if he's still a game time decision. But yeah, it's over.
I think he played.
It's
I think he played
over.
last game. He played last
Yeah,
game.
yeah, he did play. But I know it at the end of the day, like I said, it comes down to like if he's healthy, like if he's feeling 100%, it's go. Like you can just pack everything up. Like the series is over.
Yeah. But it's just unfortunate, with because honestly we never got to see the Clippers fully healthy. But you can say the same thing about just about every team in these playoffs. Like we never got to see the Lakers fully healthy. We never got to. Well, we did get to see the 76ers healthy.
No, we did.
Yes, we did. Yes, we
No,
did.
because Danny Green was out. You can
Oh my
say
God,
he's
Danny
you can
Green.
say he's not important, but at the end of the day, the dude has 3 rings with 3 teams. That seems like a pretty important guy to
Yeah,
me.
he was
And
just there. He was there. He was there. Like okay, like
he
Jamie
was
Lin
just
got a
there.
ring as well.
But
He do shit.
and then Embiid with his the right meniscus tear that they said wasn't a big deal. So I wouldn't use that
He
as
played
an
through it. He
excuse.
played through it though.
Yeah, that's what I
He
was
played
about to
through it.
say. I feel if you're injured and you're on the court, then you're not injured. You can play. If you can play, you can play. So I wouldn't use that as an excuse. But the thing is, and I hate when people put asterisks next to playoffs and postseason and all that jazz. I would use it here. It's just been a weird playoffs
Oh
and
yeah, for
no
sure.
team it's
Yeah,
just like healthy at all. So I would put an asterisk. I hate doing that, but I mean, yeah.
to
Who
me,
the hell expected any of these teams to get there
honestly,
besides the Suns?
like you could make a claim that the last true like legitimate NBA champions was the 2018 Golden State Warriors because in 2019, I believe that was the year that the Raptors won. KD
By
says
that lucky shot.
man, get you a 76. I know you still salty about
Yeah,
that.
4 bounces. That's all it took to end our season. But whatever.
Yeah, but it's not only just that, but like in that finals, KD goes down with the 20 kids, and Clay Thompson tears his ACL as well. So anybody like, okay, the Warriors, if they were fully healthy, they would have repeated that year. I personally believe that as well. The 2020 at the bubble, the Miami Heat, they go on this miraculous run, kind of like what the Atlanta Hawks are doing right now. More on
Yeah.
them, more on them in a second. But right now, like last year with the Miami Heat, how they just made that miraculous run to the bubble. And I know like LeBron James, he was talking about all like that was so hard. Like I could not imagine being stuck in like for what 2 months in a Disney resort and say, oh, that was like a grueling experience. Like there's worse
Yeah.
places to be than Orlando, Florida during in the summer of a pandemic.
I mean, yeah, and they also had 4 months off. So what were you doing in your 4 months? I mean,
Well,
obviously LeBron was training. So
well, yeah, I was like he's very busy, like filming like I think Space Jam was already filmed by then, but like LeBron, he does a lot of things in his free time. But yeah, like there's an asterisk on that because everybody okay, like if anybody had home court advantage, so to speak, then like the Miami maybe they wouldn't have made it that far. Granted, I think that the right team, it's sorry to be a conspiracy theorist, but I figured that I knew like the moment that Kobe Bryant unfortunately tragically passed away, I'm like, yeah, the Lakers are gonna win the chip. Because I believe in narratives in sports. Not saying that the sports is rigged to fix it all, even though the 2002 Western Conference Finals was rigged against the Sacramento Kings. And that's a story for another day. But I'm a firm believer, like, oh, like it was. But I'm like a firm believer that there's narratives in sports. Like you're just perfectly suited. Okay, like the Lakers, they had a bad year the previous year, LeBron's first year in LA. They get AD. Most likely they probably still would have won a chip anyway. But I think the passing of Kobe Bryant just made it so like, all right, like that's like a rallying cry. Like do it for Mamba, so to speak. They wore like the Mamba jerseys and all that. So they the Toronto Raptors the year before that made no sense. So they should not
Yeah,
win
I
a chip.
mean, I wouldn't say I believe in conspiracy theories, but in sports, but there are moments in like the
Yeah,
highest level, like
there's
Marshawn not giving the ball to Marshawn Lynch to run it up the
exactly
middle.
exactly.
The Atlanta Falcons blowing that lead. Eh, There are moments where you're just like,
Interesting.
how the fuck are you here?
Yeah,
If you make that decision like that. So yeah, there are moments where I'm just like, oh, obviously like it's rigged or something like
yeah, yeah, 100%. But
that.
no, there's even more examples in the NBA, like Michael Jordan. Like even though like Jordan, he's the goat, but like the way he just walked off Chicago Bulls, like last 3P, he is the shot with Byron Russell, perfect way to go out. And we see like even like right now, like even like going back 2011 with Dirk Nowitzki going against that Miami Heat big three, basically like revenge from like 5 years prior. Like Dirk, he had this reputation for being like this soft European big man that all he does is like shoot threes and has like that signature fadeaway jumper. And he basically willed an old veteran Mavericks team. More on them later as well in our next topic. But he basically wheeled up past LeBron, D Wade, and Chris Bosh in that Heat team. And he got his
Yeah.
ring. He made up for 5 years prior. And right now we have a perfect narrative set in front of us for Chris Paul, who I've been notoriously on his ass ever since we started this podcast.
He's one of the greatest basketball players strategically and just like overall one of the greatest leaders.
100%, he's one of the greatest basketball players of all time. But his leadership to me, this is my example of leadership. Just imagine Donnie, right? You got
Yeah.
somebody. Let's say, for instance, like you're the leader. I guess you could kind of say I don't want to use your true culture, right? But let's say, for instance, I'm leading you, and
You're the only leader.
we got some guys that you guys don't see beyond the scene that they really rock with
Oh,
me.
okay, all
Like,
right.
but I can see how you say because I'm always front and center. But
Right,
shout,
yeah.
shout out to Jerry, shout out to Case, shout out to Lou, shout out to Isaiah, who's also
Shout
the
out
head.
to all the guys behind the scenes that's keeping True Urban Culture running.
Yes,
I apologize. There's a lot of
shout
guys working
yes,
behind the scenes that we don't see.
shout out to Mrs. Godfrey, Jessica Robinson Godfrey, who is the wife, well, currently the widow of our founder CEO Antonio Godfrey. So, but I appreciate that, Donovan. But we have other leaders as well. But just for get back to my point, right? Just imagine, right? Okay, like I'm really, and I'll basically tell you all this thing, like what you need to do. And I have no prior experience, no proven track record of success. Like I never been to those, I never covered those events. I never did a New York Fashion Week. I never been a journalist any other place, anything like that. Would you basically listen to like my advice if I had like no credentials to my name?
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I mean, for me, I'm a trustworthy guy. So if you had those credentials and you gave me a chance and brought me on, then I would assume that you know what you're talking about, and I would trust you. But that's just me. But in the terms of Chris Paul, he has been a proven leader. He has probably arguably the best basketball IQ in the history of the game.
I'll take Rondo's over his, but that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that could be debated, but you're wrong, and I'm sure Noel will call you out on that. But come on, come on. But yeah,
that would be like, did Chris Paul steal your girl? Like,
you know? Right? Like, come on, he's the greatest basketball.
It's nothing personal. It's nothing personal with Chris Paul, but it's like, bro, like, all right, first of all, this is his second time in the conference finals. And
all right, but what is your root problem with him? Let's get into this. What is your root problem?
Okay,
if you can sum it up in one sentence, what is it?
No rings to show for like you being like this. I also have to say probably Jimmy Butler as well, but I kind of leaned off on Jimmy Butler a bit because he basically willed the Miami to the final, and he had a miraculous performance during the final, so he earned my respect because he did it on the biggest stage. But with Chris Paul, it's like, bro, like you're always hurt when it matters most. Like 2018, that was the conference final against the Golden State Warriors, and Chris Paul, I think he had like a hamstring or groin injury that year. But who knows? If he never got hurt, they probably would have beat the Warriors that year in the Western Conference Finals. Now this year, you know, like granted, like he hurt his shoulder in the first round, but he was able to battle through that. Props to him, respect for him for that. But the Phoenix Suns, they basically, because like the Lakers, they had their own issues, so I think they would have still beaten the Lakers without him. Second round, they played the Denver Nuggets. They swept them, but the Nuggets. No Jamal Murray. That basically affected their offense. The Nuggets, they had no Jamal Murray and no Will Barton. They had two backups start at the point and the 1 and the 2 for them.
Yeah, but if his durability is what you hold against him.
No, that's not the only. It's not so much the durability. Okay. It's just the fact that, oh my God, like whenever it matters most, there's something always. There's like a dark cloud over this dude's head. Even with the whole COVID thing. And the Phoenix Suns, they still managed to get to like a 2-0 lead without him. Granted, the Clippers gave away some games. The state could easily be 3-1 the other way or at very worst 2-2. But my thing is, I understand like DeAndre Ayton, like he's giving Chris Paul his props and all that. And
yeah, because I was about to say, he's arguably the only guy that you can pick and put him on a team and instantly make them better besides LeBron James. But he has that leadership mentality. He knows how to boost morale. Like he knows how to will his team.
I'll give him that, but also at the same time, there's been various teammates. I guess you could say, oh well, those teammates that speak out against Chris Paul maybe has something to do with their lack of a work ethic, whatever the case may be. But to me, my thing is this: there's only a few players that could get away with doing stuff like that. LeBron James is one. And the late great Kobe Bryant is another. I mean, shit, like I haven't really heard stories about it, but I highly doubt Tim Duncan was. And I don't know for sure. Now, I'm not in these locker rooms. I've never been to these practices or anything like that. But I'm almost sure Tim Duncan's not getting in like Manu Ginobili's and Tony Parker's face to, hey, like you need to do this. And great, he will have every right to do so because he has the rings. He has 5 rings. Chris Paul, this is only the dude's second time being in the conference.
I mean, well, and Tim Duncan, I've only heard ever talk once in my lifetime. So he's a silent type. I only ever heard this dude utter one sentence. And so, I mean, you can't say that. Like Chris Paul is the president of the National Basketball Players Association, the Players Union. For a reason, like
he is, but he's also one of the dirtiest players in the game as well. He takes a lot of cheap shots, and great. I would say like you want to win, you know. Like that's one thing that I do admire about Chris Paul. He's very competitive and he wants to win, and he does make his team better. Because look what happened with Oklahoma City Thunder the moment he left. You know that granted they tanked. But you know they went from a team that was within.
I mean, everybody before once Chris Paul signed there, everybody counted them out as
for sure. I was thinking I was like, okay, like by mid-season, he's gonna get traded up out of there. But he led them to the playoffs. They got within one game of making it to the conference semifinals. They lost that game 7. But Chris Paul, like everybody saying, like, oh my god, he should be like an MVP candidate. Like, has people not been watching Devin Booker?
Yeah, I wouldn't say
Like,
I
like
wouldn't say
Devin Booker
MVP.
has been like Devin Booker has looked like the second coming of Kobe Bryant, and
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant was the second coming of Michael Jordan. So you just you feel me? Like Devin Booker has really been balling. DeAndre A has stepped up. Like I get like everybody like Chris Paul, he's this great leader, and this I'm more sure he is. I'm more sure he does a lot beyond the that we do not know of. But my thing is, you have to have results to your name to be able to have the clout that you have. That's
Okay.
my only thing.
I wouldn't count rings as the
All right,
end all.
Donovan. All right, but Donovan, you're a music guy, right? You're a music
Yeah.
guy, right? That's like for instance, right? And I'm not saying you have to win like a Grammy award, but that's like a singer or songwriter having like a course tell you as far like how it's like the type of art that you need to be like how to make hits and never had like a top and never had a Billboard #1 or was never on the top 100 charts. Now, Greg Chris Paul, he was on top 100 charts because like and that's like the critics making the playoffs, but he never had like a #1 hit. He never been there. So how can you tell other people how to get there? How can you tell other people how to
Okay,
get
but
somewhere
the,
that you
the
never been?
difference between a music artist getting a #1 hit is different than winning a team focused award like championship ring.
Okay, but music is a team thing too. Like unless you're like you have your singer, you have the producer, you have the songwriter. You know, there's a lot that goes into. Unless you're all of those things, then okay. I mean,
Look at Benny Blanco. He wrote some of the greatest hits of the past like 20 years. So
I ain't gonna hold you. I don't know who that is.
Benny Blanco, you don't
That
know
name
who
sounds
he
familiar
is.
though. That name sounds familiar
You
though.
you don't know who he is, but you've heard his songs throughout the top 100s. Like, oh,
Give
he
me one.
worked with 303, Katy Perry, Justin Bieber, Rihanna. Who else? I'm pretty sure he worked with Beyonce once. Just know he's written like every single like hit. Like
You
this
see,
dude is legit.
you see, ladies and gentlemen, this is why he's our ace when it comes down to music. You see how the knowledge that flows within this man, like he knows his shit. He
Yeah,
knows
so
his
I guess I understand what you're talking about, but it's a difference between like being a music artist and like
shit.
doing like all of those things. Because at the end of the day, yes, you can say you have a team, you have publishers, you have marketing, all this stuff, but at the end of the day, you're the one like writing the music, as opposed to playing on a court with 4 other guys is different.
Right. Okay, but my thing is overall Chris Paul, because like I said, I had the same issue with Jimmy Butler until last year's where he went that run, he took the Heat to the finals. Chris Paul, you do not necessarily. I think it's prime itself for you to win a championship, and I do believe that if y'all do not win it this year, it's never gonna happen for you. I know I'm not God, I'm not none of those things. So it's like, who am I to make that call? But to me, you'll never have a better opportunity than you have
Yeah,
right
and I feel like that's I think that puts pressure on him a little bit. And
and I'm glad you said that because Chris Paul under pressure always shrinks.
but
He all he
we'll
always
see. We'll see
he always
this
shrinks.
series.
He always shrinks when it's almost time for the balloon to pop. He always
Yeah,
shrinks under the
but
pressure.
you can say that. At the end of the day, like all NBA fans are rallying behind him.
I
And
want him to prove me wrong. I want him to prove me wrong because it's not like I have like this vendetta. I don't know Chris Paul. It's just that I just have it just rubs me the wrong way when somebody's basically all up in your face trying to tell you what you need to do when they supposed to be the so-called leader and they never been to the promised land. He does. I'm not saying he
okay,
has.
I can see that side of it.
You get what I'm saying? Like, all right, like even let's say for instance they don't win a championship this year, they better at least get to the finals. Cause at least you can say you've been there. Cause I
Yeah.
know, cause I know Shaq. He always gets on Charles Barkley about not having a ring, but Charles Barkley can say he got to the finals. He just ended up losing to the greatest player of all time.
Yeah,
Reggie, like,
I've never considered rings as the staple of your career or
oh
whatever.
no, like Allen Iverson is my favorite NBA player. Actually, Allen Iverson is my favorite athlete of all time. He never won a ring, but he been to the finals.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. If you're that guy, you're gonna have that reputation of that guy. You gotta at least get there.
Yeah, I think if he gets, I mean, his legacy is already cemented, but
Yeah,
if
he's
he
one of the best point
does,
guards ever.
yeah, if he does get to the finals and so happens to win it all, it just pushes him over the edge.
Yeah, like it'll basically solidify his career. You know what? I'll be one of the first ones to say, you know what, Chris Paul, you did it, and I'll shut up about it. But until then, either I know I said that he does not decide to win it. Either I think this is the best opportunity for him to win it, but at the very
Yeah,
least, get there.
yeah.
At the very least,
The path has never been easier,
for sure.
and all the best teams are knocked out, and like it's just up to you whether you want it or not.
For sure. And honestly, we both agree that they're gonna win tonight. I think it's
Yeah.
just about a wrap. But let's move on quickly because I know we spent a lot of time on this opening. But then the Hawks and the Philadelphia. Oh, sorry, not the Philadelphia.
I'm glad
I did
Nola
not do
here
that on
because
purpose. I
fuck
did
the
not do that
Hawks.
on purpose. I did not do that on purpose. The Atlanta Hawks and the Milwaukee Bucks. Now the Bucks are now up 2-1 on the series. Game one, Trae Young went off. The Milwaukee Bucks basically humbled them in game two. But everybody could be okay. Well, Atlanta,
Non-existent in game two.
yeah, cause I know everybody could be okay. Well, if anything, like that, maybe the Atlanta Hawks they just got a little relaxed. They already stole home court, so it's really not too. And even last night, I know. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I know by the time the episode airs, it's gonna be basically 2 nights ago. We're recording this on a Monday, but all right. Let me rephrase that. On Sunday night, game three, everything was looking pretty good. The Hawks stay up. They very competitive with the Bucks. They're up 85-82. Trae Young goes down, sprains his ankle. Stats is up in the air for game four, but chances are most likely he might try to play through it.
Yeah, the way this series is going, the
I
way the NBA
personally,
playoffs, he
yeah,
shouldn't be in the game.
yeah, I personally do not recommend that. Granted,
Yeah,
because because for the simple reason the fact that, okay, like, no, fuck that. I changed my stance and miss him because me being the old head of the show, I remember Dan Marino when he was very young. Granted, I wasn't born then, but in my first life I was born. This is my second life. More on that on Tuck Talk. So because I believe that whole thing, like you transition from one life to the other.
look, I believe I was working with Da Vinci during the Renaissance era, so you ain't
Shit, you
gotta tell
probably
me.
was. You probably was. But like I remember Dan Marino, like around like his second year or something like that, he went to the Super Bowl. Everybody like, okay, like you're gonna get back there again, like you're still young. Trae Young, he's still like a young man. He's like what, 23, 24 years old. You know,
Yeah,
he's
hasn't
basically
even hit his prime yet.
yeah, not even. But same could be said back there about Derrick Rose. We know what happened with him. With the injuries
Yeah,
and all that. So you never really know. You never really know. And he is on the smaller side as a guard. And one of the biggest criticisms against him was the fact that he was too small. Now, so far in his career, he's managed to like just make anybody look stupid. Everybody said, okay, that he couldn't score at the NBA level. He's like,
yeah. His numbers are soon going to change
yeah,
after the
he's
rule takes effect.
oh
I'll
yeah,
tell you
like
that.
oh yeah, like he will not be able to get away with him, James Harden, those type of dudes. They would not get away with like
Yeah,
those little bumping fouls, like trying to like draw contact.
no,
You know,
not anymore.
it's not gonna happen. But I I was gonna say that I don't think he should play through it, but given the history of this game and us and how it made me look at how like you're a young star, you have plenty of time. That's never really truly promised to you. And let's be for real, like this has been a crazy season in terms
Yeah,
of
which is the
injuries.
reason why he shouldn't play.
But also at the same time, this is the perfect reason why he should play because nobody on the
No.
Atlanta Hawks would be here. So
Yeah, but at the end of the day, you're seeing what's happening to the stars and to the teams that are deciding to play their players and stuff like that. Like we're in a twilight zone of an NBA playoffs. It is not the time to take. Well, I wouldn't say now it's not the time to take chances because it's the playoffs. You take chances regardless, but if Trae Young is hurt, listen to him. You saw what happened a couple of years ago when you didn't listen to KD and you played him anyway. You saw what happened this series, 2 series ago. Listen, if he doesn't want to play, don't force him to play. Sit his ass down, and that just means players are going to have to step up. It's not the time to be trying to will your best player to play through an injury. Not this series.
I mean, I'm very conflicted on it. And see, this is me being a Libra. Like, we cannot make decisions to save our life. Because on one hand, I'm like, I think he should play because like you're not gonna get a better opportunity than what you have right now. Consider the leftover for the field. Like it's anybody's right now. Now, granted, Clippers they have like a large mountain to climb, but Ty Lue he did it before. He did it before back in 2016 when he basically with the Cavs they were down 3-1 and came back to win the series, so it could happen.
Yeah.
Granted, they don't have Kawhi, but it's gonna be even more difficult. But even without him, they still been competitive in this series. Just like a couple lucky bounces here and there, just went against them. But the field is open with these Final Four. Like nobody really is that much better than the other. So even if we look at next year, the Lakers most likely they're gonna be healthy. The Golden State Warriors they're gonna have Klay Thompson back. The Brooklyn
Nets.
Man, fuck this. Man, fuck the Sixers.
Okay, all right.
The Celtics, by Dallas Mavericks. More on them on the next segment. Who else? We got the Milwaukee Bucks. They're here. They're gonna be around for a good while. The Miami Heat.
And the Hawks are going to be around for a good while too. They're still a relatively young team.
Yeah, they are. But John Collins is a free agent. Gallo and Lou Williams, those guys are much older. And they might be like, would they see the Atlanta Hawks as a contender, or would they want to take less money to go to like a championship contending team? Only time will tell on that. But it's never a more clear path to win a ring or get to the finals than right now for Trae Young.
Yeah, and it sucks that he's injured, but you don't play him.
And I know also at the same time, I'm conflicted because I remember back then because I had 2 teams, the Mavericks and the Celtics. But I remember when Isaiah Thomas, when he was playing through his hip injury, his sister died and all that, and then he was never the same player after that, even after playing through it. So it's like, and he was a small guard himself, granted, much smaller than Trae Young, which is crazy to think about. But it's like, so even though, let's say for instance, Trae Young does play, do you think the Atlanta Hawks by the time do you think they'll be able to like get back in this series, or do you think it's just about over?
If Trae Young decides not to play tonight, I would have to reserve my decision until after the game to see how they interact with each other. But my initial reaction is no. I think the series will be over if Trae Young does not decide not to play this time.
But I must they was very competitive in Sunday's game. When he was out there. Then once he went down, it's just Milwaukee they just turned it on. So
yeah, without him, they collapsed. So it's
So after that's gonna affect the decision whether he's gonna play or not because he got the chance.
I think any player who's the best on their team is going to want to play after just knowing that you can't trust your team.
Yeah,
that's what it seems like.
But one thing that we know for sure is by the end of this week, by the time we have episode 12 of the Outta Bounds podcast, once Noah is back, and we're back to our big 3, we're gonna know whether or not that third eye is still open because he did predict Atlanta in 7 games.
Yeah, I predicted in 6.
So you predicted Atlanta to win in 6 or Milwaukee?
No, Bucks win in 6.
Yeah, and I basically said Bucks at 5, so I'm still looking pretty good right now. But the thing is, the deal was, if for all of our new listeners, by the way, if you're enjoying this conversation so far, please like this video, share this video with your network, subscribe to the channel, and also comment and give your thoughts down below. Let's find out what you think the Atlanta Hawks should do with Trae Young in this instance. But by this time next week, we're gonna know whether or not that third eye still open, whether or not we us here at Trivia Culture have to design those no third eye T-shirts. Because he's been killing with the predictions, ladies. So we'll know by this time next week, where we're at with that. Either we can have a game 7, or the series will be over with. But with that said, now it's about time I feel to move on to our first official time. I know we spent about 35 minutes on the open thoughts on the playoffs, but there's been a lot going on in the NBA. A lot, even some stuff going on, with teams that's no longer in the playoffs. My Dallas Mavericks just recently hired Jason Kidd as their new head coach. Jason Kidd was last head coach with the Milwaukee Bucks prior to Mike Budenholzer taking off. But that was like around 2016. He was also the head coach of the Brooklyn Nets, and he just recently served as the assistant coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. On the other side, we have the Portland Trail Blazers. They just recently hired.
What was that?
What?
Oh, never mind. I misinterpreted what you said.
Yeah, I know. I speak very fast. I need to work on that. I need to slow down. But the Portland Trail Blazers, they just recently hired Chauncey Billups. I feel it was well overdue for him to get a head coaching job. He's been working for ESPN for a while. He just recently was the assistant coach on the Clippers staff. I believe. Wait, was it the Clippers staff? Yeah, I believe it was the Clippers staff under Ty Lue. He gave a shot as assistant. And right now, he's currently in position to be the head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers. But unfortunately, with two of these NBA champions, two of the greatest point guards to ever play this game, two of the best point guards of their generation, there's been some controversy associated with their hirings. And first for Jason Kidd, there's been these reports came out as far as like him and having a domestic incident with his now wife back in 2001. Everybody in the media wants to bring that up. And in the case of Chauncey Billups, who, mind you, this happened before he was playing with the Detroit Pistons, won the Finals MVP, and was all over ESPN as a panelist and was an assistant with the LA Clippers. They're bringing up past sexual assault allegations from 1997. And now, basically, there's been like a big public firestorm and sort of backlash for these two men being hired back. So, my question for this topic is, do you have an issue with the hires of Jason Kidd and Chauncey Billups based off their previous past?
Based off their previous past, no.
Do you feel like it's warranted at this point? Like, granted, you don't have a problem with it, but do you see the point of views of everybody that's speaking out against these hires, I should say?
Yes, in terms of other opportunities that could other players or staff who could have used those positions or opportunities or whatever.
Like who?
Becky Hammon.
Hammon?
Yeah, Hammon.
I'm gonna let you explain why you believe Becky Hammon should have most likely got one of these jobs.
It's no question. It's no question throughout the NBA, GMs and executives saw her as the one who deserved the position the most throughout the head coaching job throughout the most.
Why does she deserve it?
She's been a stellar WNBA player. She's worked with numerous.
This is the NBA.
The WNBA.
I know, but this is the NBA.
Oh, so you're saying that it's not it's not the same.
It's not. I'm sorry. And I don't mean to come off as hopefully I'm not trying to come up, but it is what it is. If I sound sexist saying that, it is what it is. But I understand that the WNBA is more focused on the fundamentals. And as a coach, coming to the NBA, okay, that might be all right. That's cool. That's needed. But my thing is this. And I know you have NBA coaches, they go and they coach in the WNBA, like Bill Laimbeer has done it, Derek Fisher has done it. But it's different. It's different because you have fundamentals in the NBA, but there's no athleticism, in the WNBA. I'm not trying to say that that's the reason why she's that. So, I'm not trying to say, wait, hold on, talk about, because I know that sounded a bit wrong. And I know you could easily call me on that statement because I know you can say, okay, well, Brad Stevens is not the most athletic guy. Greg Popovich is not the most athletic guy. Okay, that's cool, but they have a proven track record of coaching men. She's an assistant, which is cool. But I remember Patrick Ewing, he was an assistant for years on the in the NBA on the Orlando Magic, the Charlotte. I don't know about the Magic. I know he played for the Magic, but the Charlotte Bobcats. Then he has to go to Georgetown University, his alma mater, to get a college coaching gig, and then basically he did a great job, basically getting Georgetown to the NCAA tournament this past year. And he's a Hall of Fame NBA player. He couldn't even get a head coaching job, and all this
I
time
mean,
we were always been
Becky,
talking.
she did win
Wait,
a
hold on.
title.
I know, but in the WNBA, hold on 1 second. I wasn't done. But to get back to the point, like we've been for years, we've been talking about how like all these black NBA coaches, assistant coaches haven't got opportunity. Steven Silas was an assistant coach in the NBA for like almost 20 years. Just got head coaching job with the Houston Rockets. James Harden messed that up by forcing his way out, and they have to basically rebuild. But here's what it is on that. And then we got Becky Hammon. Now, granted, I understand like with women, like you want to test the field, see what they can do, but Becky Hammon at this point being an NBA head coach, it would just be nothing more than a publicity stunt. It'll just
I mean,
that's all it'll be.
she has
That's I'll let you
she
go.
has a proven track record in the NBA. She
As
joined
an
the Spurs.
assistant coach. As an
No, but she
assistant
also
coach.
coached their summer league team in 2015 and won the title, the summer league title, Las Vegas.
Yeah, that's true. But also at the same time, Lonzo Ball won the summer league title, and look with the Lakers. Magic Johnson said, "Oh, the Lakers are back after they won summer league title." And look what happened with that. They basically gave up their whole core to get LeBron James.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you
So
got a
summer league
neurotic
already.
father.
So summer league don't really
Oh,
mean
come
that
on.
much. Summer league
First, you
already.
said that she
I
hasn't
like that
coached
point though.
any male basketball players.
No,
That
I
showed
no
that she
no
coached young.
no. I know she coaches young basketball because like she's an assistant coach on the San Antonio Spurs. But my thing with Becky Hammon, like, if you really want an opportunity to coach in the NBA, don't jump the line. Like I know you can say, oh, well, she's been an assistant for 2014. That's long enough. She paid her dues, and she coached in the summer league. But my thing is like, if you really want to prove that you're a quality coach and you could be a head coach, then what? Like, what's wrong with coaching in the WNBA? This is what I don't understand. Like, we have like great. I understand that the WNBA is not as marketable as the NBA and all that, but the WNBA game needs all the help that it can get. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, but who's to say that she hasn't tried coaching or doesn't want to coach?
I'm most
Maybe
sure. I'm most sure. I'm most sure she would have got a WNBA head coach job.
here's the thing. It's like it's known throughout the executives of the NBA that Becky Hammon is a good assistant coach, and she knows the game, and that's good enough for me. It's maybe something that we're not seeing within the Spurs organization. Maybe she's doing a lot. We don't know. But I know for one fact, one of the greatest basketball coaches of all time, Greg Pop, advocates for her, and that says more than enough for me.
Okay, but also this is the same Greg Popovich that I remember when he got ejected from a game, and then basically they had Tim Duncan as a head coach. See, they didn't turn it over to Becky Hammon. They turned it over to Tim Duncan to coach the team.
No,
And he's a new assistant.
There was, maybe we're talking about two different games, but when he was ejected again, she did coach for a game.
Did they win?
But they lost.
I'm not trying to say I'm not trying to say that means anything or stuff like that. But my thing is this: Becky Hammon, like if you're really serious, I don't know what I'm saying. Like she's gonna watch it, but
What do you mean if she's really serious? She's been in the NBA league for
6 years. Okay, 6 years ain't that long.
And the fact that all these executives and scouters and head coaches are advocating for her to get a job, it says a lot.
But then why she's not?
Like I said, we're not directly involved in the NBA and behind the scenes, so maybe she's doing something that speaks to her credibility.
Okay, but why she's not getting these gigs then? Is this so that she's not doing in the interviews? Like, yeah, she's a
I don't know.
candidate.
It could be sexism. It could be I don't know what it is.
I don't know about sexism. My thing is this: her just being a head coach in the NBA right now would just be not a sort of a publicity stunt. That's all it'll be. All like she's like the first woman to coach at the NBA. But my thing is this: I understand
I
we're all
would
for
agree with
equality.
you if it was just somebody like off the street, like at college level. I would agree with you.
All right.
But she,
Speaking of college, how about she goes down to college, coach in the NCAA men's, and see if she could see what happens
maybe
there.
she don't want to go down to fucking.
Well, why the fuck not? Patrick Ewing had to do it. She ain't no damn Patrick Ewing.
I mean, she's. I feel like maybe in her shoes, I'm not
What
going to
makes her
speak for her.
special?
Maybe she feel
What
like
makes
it's
her
a step
special?
back.
Okay, well, Patrick Ewing had to take a step back and coach college. Juwan
Yes,
Howard,
that could be said, but
who was an assistant coach at the NBA, had to take a step back and go back and coach college. Sometimes it's just shit that you just gotta do.
yeah, like I said, I'm not going to speak on behalf of her,
Like
but maybe
to me, I'm glad she's going through this process because I think it's more fair that she's going through this process the way it's happening. Because it was because we have so many men, black men in the NBA. I'm not trying to use like the whole race thing, but I'm just saying like we have like so many other not only just quality coaches that's not getting opportunity, but they're more qualified than her that are not getting looks. Like one of the
yeah,
key assistant coaches for the Portland Trailblazers, his name escaped me right now, but Damian Lillard been advocating for this dude to get a head coaching job for years and he hasn't gotten it.
yeah.
So it's like, okay, with Becky Hammon, just because she's a woman and everybody going to use this because, she's a woman, so everybody being sexist and this and that. To me, like 6 years, that's not an eternity. True urban
Yeah,
culture
it's
has been
not
around for
enough.
6 years. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not enough time. It's not. It's really not. It's not enough time. So I agree. I'm saying like with everything she's done in summer league and all that, but if she really wanted, the opportunity to coach in the NBA, then why not just take a step back, go to college level for like a year, for like 4 years or so. The reason I say 4 years because most likely she had to go something, but she got to like
I mean,
several
I
recruiting
feel like
classes.
that's the thing. I feel like it's taking a step back because she's already the assistant coach of the Spurs. She's
Okay, it
and
happens.
other teams brought her in to interview.
All right,
So it's like they
plenty of.
see the potential in her and they see her as a valid candidate. So I feel like, oh well, I guess I didn't get the job, so let me go to college.
I'll say this much. This is gonna be another long episode. I know we always say that, like we only play like go like short amount of time, but it is what it is. We're just gonna let it rock. But I hear what you're saying about it being like a step down. But listen, like it happens. Just because like you interview, you don't get the gig. Like okay, like so what? What you gonna do? Just go back to sitting on be an assistant bench? You're basically gonna have the same qualifications next year. Well, you could have just took a chance on yourself, go to college route, get some results there, add to your resume rather than just be a Pop's assistant, and then try to prove that you can
I
be a leader
mean,
of men.
at this rate, God forbid, Pop might roll over tomorrow, and it could be her job. So maybe she's waiting for that.
I think he'll give it to Tim Duncan before he gives it to him.
I don't know.
But this topic wasn't, let's say, about Becky Hammon. So Becky Hammon, you got more time than I was willing to give you. But the main thing was here was about
Becca, I respect you.
I
And
respect.
I see the potential and I see all the credentials and the advocation on your behalf. So the thing is, everybody knows she's going to get her shot. It's just a matter of when. Everybody knows.
To me, she's not gonna get her shot just going on these interviews, not getting a gig, and then going back to Pops to be one of Pop's assistants. You have
So you
to.
think she should go to college and work on her coaching skills more until she gets an opportunity
One
to
hundred
be
percent,
called up?
one hundred
Okay.
percent, because then she could prove okay, like in a head role, it'd be more impressive at college because she has to recruit. She has to get young men to commit to her vision.
I mean,
And
she already had a group of young men who were together for 17 days and won the title. So
summer
I'm
league,
just
that's like talking about.
so now it's summer league. Now it's summer league.
I just broke down that the Lakers
But
won
you
the summer
just
league.
but you
I
just
broke
said why
down how
don't
the
you but you just
down.
said why don't she
Hold
go
on,
to college?
time out. I broke
Oh,
down
all
how
right, go ahead.
I
Go ahead.
broke down how the Lakers won the summer league title with Lonzo Ball Kyle Kuzma, and all these dudes. Magic Johnson said that the Lakers were back and they were a lottery team once again. It don't mean shit. It don't mean shit.
I'm just pointing out the switch up of you saying, "Why don't you go to college?"
Why is
And
Becky?
then
Why
show
is
and
hold on?
and
Why is Becky Hammon taking up so much of this segment?
Oh,
It
so now
said
she's taking
Jason
up so
Kidd.
much time. Now she's taking up so much time.
This is
But I
not
was just about to
2 minute
catch you in
drill.
your lie. All right, go ahead.
This is not a 2 minute drill.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I understand. You lucky Nolan ain't here because he would flame you.
Yeah, fuck out of it. But Jason Kidd and Chauncey Billups, like, do you think it's fair that these allegations are conveniently coming out now, and all of a sudden we get these public outrages when these two men were just assistant coaches in the playoffs not too long ago?
Yeah, I believe.
It's like gatekeeping.
Let me just first say that the allegations are serious, and that's nothing to laugh at or shy away from. Second, I always find it weird how shit comes up just as somebody's about to get promoted or they get a new job or they're finding some stream of success. So yeah, I do find it weird that these allegations are coming up now that he has like the job and stuff like that.
For sure, 100%. And my thing is, like, I can understand. All right, let's say for instance, Jason Kidd, he had these. First of all, I do not condone domestic violence at all whatsoever. I just want to make that very clear. But the instant when it happened, he's married to that woman still to this day. You know, so
they're still married.
Yeah, they're still married. So basically, all these people that's so outraged about it, you're just bringing back like old triggers, old traumas for this woman. You know, because they probably work past these issues, and all of a sudden you have these people all over Twitter talking about like, oh my god, like the Dallas Mavericks that basically Mark Cuban talking about how you want to get rid of a toxic environment. Now he's bringing in a head coach that based that.
Yeah, I can't imagine with his wife.
And mind you, this same guy, yeah, like why would you do that to her at this point? And who knows, like never, like we don't know how much therapy they had to go through to, to like rectify that situation. And now they just.
I feel like everybody deserves a second chance. So it's
agree.
Yeah, the fact that these allegations are coming up, has he had any record of domestic violence since then? Has he been in any drama since then besides non-basketball related? No. So it's one of those things where it's like like he got the job, but it's like, oh, but what about what he did like 50 years ago or something like that?
And I understand that the man did not coach the Brooklyn Nets. I understand that the man did not coach the Milwaukee Bucks. I understand that the man was an assistant coach on the Lakers. All of a sudden, now you want to break up this shit. And mind you, he won a championship with the Dallas Mavericks as a player. Nobody was talking about this shit back then. You know what I'm saying? But granted, there was no Me Too movement back then as well.
Yeah, I mean,
but those of y'all that's listening and you made this far, you feel where I'm coming from when I say that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so there wasn't all this. Like, all of a sudden, everybody's socially aware. Like, bro, like he was playing on the team like what 10 years ago. Nobody gave a shit then. He was an assistant coach on the Lakers. Won a ring as an assistant last year. He was on that.
It's just another example of that toxic cancel culture,
right.
And I think a lot of people are shying away from it anyway. So, but we can talk about that on Talk.
Yeah, for Talk for sure. Stay tuned for Tech Talk tomorrow. It's gonna be a great episode. But in regards to like Chauncey Billups, his allegations came when he was a rookie on the Boston Celtics in 1997. This man went on to do so many things since then.
He spent his whole career and nobody batted an eye. But now that he's hired,
he gets a head coaching job. But wait. 1997. Yeah. I wasn't born in 1997, but I went on Wikipedia. I searched up some shit, or maybe back then, like Chauncey Billups, like nobody. See, let's get to the root of the problem here. Cause it seemed like everybody just gatekeeps, so to speak. Like nobody made an uproar. He was all over ESPN. Nobody made an uproar with Jason Kidd when he was on NBA TV, and then he ended up getting assistant job with the Lakers. Nobody cared when Chauncey was an assistant with the Clippers. All of a sudden, now these guys, they move up one seat closer. Now they're the head coaches. Now everybody cares all of a sudden. So
Yeah,
basic,
it's
so
just a
basically,
new generation.
so basically, what you're saying is you don't have a problem with people being successful. You just want to put a cap on their success based off of previous mistakes.
Yeah,
Because if you really cared, you wouldn't want these people having any job whatsoever. And granted, I think there's a problem with that as well because I feel like people are entitled to make mistakes. Granted, there's some mistakes that you cannot come back from. There are some mistakes that you cannot come back from. But
I
also,
wouldn't agree with that.
you know what?
But we
I
we could
could,
talk about that for
I could,
another time.
yeah, I could say something right now, but we would probably spend another 20 minutes
Yeah,
on it.
yeah,
But y'all,
exactly.
but y'all saw my eyes. Y'all saw my eyes. So you know what? Maybe this might come up again on Tuck Talk. And by the way, once again, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this episode so far, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. And also check out Tuck Talk tomorrow as well. Me though, because I'm almost sure this is gonna come up again. These times are gonna
Yeah,
come
I
up
mean,
again.
we got the producer over there telling us keep an eye on the clock and stuff like that. Yeah, it's,
Yeah, but in regards to let's transition over as far as because in regards to Chauncey Billups and Jason Kidd, I'm proud of both guys. I wish I hope that the organizations do not give into like the public backlash and then they have to like rescind all these head coach offers.
yeah,
Because to
yeah.
me that would just be a shame. That would really be a shame. And that would just go to show as far as like, hey, like we are giving some I don't want to say nobodies, but let's be it is what it is. Like these people on Twitter, these people that like this vocal minority, we're basically giving them
Yeah,
too
the
much
cancel
power.
culture.
Cancel culture, we're giving them too much power,
Yeah,
and that cannot be because and we spoke on this on Talk Talk beforehand, but it's like these people act like they never made no mistakes whatsoever in their past. You know, everybody has skeletons in the closet. Some have more than others. But at the end of the day, it's like you cannot affect people's livelihoods based off an allegation. Now, in the case of Jason Kidd, he did that shit. But if his wife could forgive him and most likely move on past it, everybody else should.
that's all it really should matter. If his wife forgives him, that's all.
Yeah. But there's a second leg to this story in the city of Portland, Oregon. It's in relation to Damian Lillard because even you have Portland Trailblazers fans coming at Damian Lillard, basically saying that how can he be in support of of a guy that could be a sexual assault? So, and he's like, man, I knew nothing about that, you know. And basically, he has to get defensive, and he's like, okay, like the real know what it is, and you feel some type of way about me, then just say less. And so basically, just to make a long story short, he's like fed up. He's fed with the situation in Portland. You know, he wanted Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd goes to Dallas. He wanted his like the top assistant. I'm sorry that I do not remember his name right now. I should do my fact checks. Me being professional that I am, but he wanted him. He's African American head coach, basically been assistant for way longer than Becky Hammon. You know, he wanted him. He didn't get him. Chauncey Billups, he was cool with Chauncey Billups. Now basically the fan base is basically in uproar about that pick. And so he's basically fed up with the organization. But one, not so much due to this, but for the simple fact that okay, like they lost in the first round again, you know. And then one time
Yeah,
they got the
he's
conference
just not
finals,
going to win a chip there. Just come to Philly, bro. We got cheesesteaks.
come to New York.
Dane, if you watching this, because yeah,
Come to New York. We got pizza, we got Peruvian food, we got vegan food, we got soul food, we got Chinese food, Thai food. New York is just like the melting pot of culture. So if it really comes down to food, then you might as well just come to New York. And I'm also sure the New York Knicks really want them anyway. I'm not a Knicks fan, but I'll advocate for the Knicks fans out there. Like, hey, like Damian Lillard, like if you really want to make a splash, come to the Big Apple. That's why I think he should play next season.
I mean,
I don't see what he's gonna do.
if you're in a position to win now, come to Philadelphia. If you still want to fumble around and
Philly can't get past the second. Philly can't get past the second round.
Yeah, because of Ben Simmons, we trade him and we got Dame and Embiid. Come on, man.
No. Portland every stupid they take Ben Simmons. You're gonna take a dude that refuses to shoot.
No, we'll probably have to package Ben Simmons with
Tobias Harris,
Matisse or Matt. No.
Yes. Yeah, you're not gonna rob.
No,
You're not gonna rob Portland.
no. If we're going to give Ben Simmons, we'll most likely have to include Tyrese Maxey or Matisse Thybulle, two really good picks.
Wow. Wow. Two perimeter defenders, and that's all they're good for. Wow. Well, Tyrese Maxey, he's a good
Well,
young
are
guard.
you
He's a good.
serious?
I forgot. I thought you said Danny Green and Matisse Thybulle. I forgot you said Tyrese Maxey. I forgot you said Tyrese Maxey.
Okay.
I know. I know that look was warranted. That look was warranted. But I wouldn't take that deal. I wouldn't take that deal. No. That's
It's
robbery.
okay.
That's robbery.
It's good that
Yeah.
you're not Portland because they sure as hell would.
So Portland, you're gonna take a dude that's afraid to take a layup or dunk the ball.
I mean, they almost
Well,
took it. And
you're gonna take that guy
here's
over a
the
dude that has no
thing.
problem shooting from half court. That
Here's
makes
the
no
thing
sense.
that people have a misconception. Ben Simmons is still young. Granted, he can't shoot, but he can still develop a shot early in his career. He's still young.
He is who he is. He is who he is.
Yeah, that is true. But
Giannis at his age was basically giving you 20 plus points per game.
and Giannis is in his prime now, so we need a solid point
He's
guard.
just entering his prime because your prime really starts around 27 years old. And
Yeah.
Giannis is already at that point. But Ben Simmons, I just think he is who he is. He is. I saw because I remember in an early episode, I believe it was like what episode 3 of Tuck Talk, not Tuck Talk, the Outta Bounds podcast. When Joel Embiid went down, I basically said I'm looking at Ben Simmons to see he's gonna step up as a scorer. He did not do that. He did not do that whatsoever. Tobias Harris did, but Ben Simmons he just remained the same old player. And at that moment, right there, I'm like, okay, this guy, he's never gonna be that guy. You know that meme like you're not that guy, pal. Ben Simmons is not that guy.
Yeah,
you're not that guy. Ben Simmons is not that guy. It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I still believe in him, but then again, I don't. But that's a topic for another day. I'm saying Lillard is probably going to Philly. If not Philly, we have another team that's interested. Supposedly the Timberwolves, who are interested badly. But what the fuck are they going to give us? Besides, yeah, I was about to say D'Angelo Russell, the guy we were supposed to get a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah, but I say the New York Knicks could be a strong possibility. If not them, the Miami Heat is worth a look.
So who are you going to give for Lillard? Who the Knicks going to give?
Obi Toppin, a first round pick.
Yeah, you're going to trade your centerpiece?
Obi Toppin barely played his rookie year.
I mean, he was the guy that the Knicks early on was advocating for.
Yeah, he was a 7 overall pick. Like, I'll give Obi Toppin. I'll probably give up Emmanuel quickly. I wouldn't want to give up Emmanuel quickly. But, I'm not going to give up quickly because you need some scoring off the bench. Obi Toppin, Kevin Knox, and a couple of first-round picks. And R.J. Barrett.
That seems like a good deal. Better deal than Philadelphia, maybe.
I know y'all got Leon Rose, but if you really, it's Scott Pepper, I could be a GM. I'm not saying it because I play NBA 2K, but I think that's a pretty good deal. I think Knicks fans will be happy with that deal. R.J. Barrett, you give R.J. Barrett, Obi Toppin, Kevin Knox, and a couple of firsts, and you get back Damian Lillard. And who knows, maybe you can add another player to that deal. Maybe you get Harry Giles or Yusuf Nurkic or some shit like that. Like, I feel like that's a great trade. That's a great trade.
We'll see. But you sure as hell ain't staying in Portland.
But the Miami Heat, I could see as a possibility as well. As they could get a Tyler Hero and Precious Achua.
Yeah, I think they're done with Hero.
And also the Los Angeles, the Lakers, they already have, like, I don't know who they're going to give up, but they weren't shocked.
Probably Dennis Schroeder and some other role players.
Yeah, so. But that's about it on that topic. I don't want to spend too much time on it. Let's get to the 2-minute drill. And Donovan, I understand that there was something specific that you want to talk about with this 2-minute drill segment this week.
Yeah, it's. I think it's a subject that should be handled because I've seen a lot of people or cancel culture trying to say that the Olympics committee was in the wrong. Cece Telfer, I believe I'm saying her name correctly, is a transgender woman. Is that correct? Transgender woman.
Yes.
Yes. So supposedly she failed her testosterone test. I think it was 5 points higher than what it should be, or something like that. So she did not make the Olympic track and field team. Now the cancel culture is calling out the Olympic team for not being what's the word I'm looking for?
Not being inclusive.
Yeah, inclusive, and allowing her to compete.
Okay, but prior to her transitioning, no, actually the year before, like, did she set a record?
I do believe she set a record for the 400 meters.
And I was competing against other cis women, correct?
Yes. So if I'm familiar with her track record, she placed in the bottom tier of 200 in college in the NCAA.
And that was before transitioning.
Before her transition when she was a male. In 2018, she fully successfully completed her transition, and she started to compete for the women's senior NCAA track team, and she won a championship.
Okay, so basically, like, when she was competing against, before she transitioned, when she was competing against men, she couldn't even basically, she didn't make no noise in the track and field game. She wasn't setting no record, no qualification, none of that. All of a sudden, she transitions, starts competing against women, she's setting records.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a lot of things that people are leaving out.
Yeah, so I don't think it's so much as far as like the Olympics just being not inclusive enough, or just like being behind the times with how we're moving in modern day society. I just think they just like me, and they're recognizing the bullshit and knowing that transgenders transgender women have no business competing against cisgender women. Whether it's a track and field, whether it's an MMA, because we've seen plenty of cases in the MMA when transgender women beating the shit out of cisgender women. You know, it just has no place. And I'm not trying to take away as far like saying, oh my god, like, you have like you're transgender, you basically have no place in society, because clearly you do. You know, but there's pros and cons with everything. You can't always have it your way. You can't have your cake and eat it too. And it just would not be fair to have a transgender woman compete against cisgender woman and basically set all kinds of records, dominating the competition. That just would not be fair in my eyes. And I believe the Olympic Committee, they also recognizes that as well.
Yeah, her manager, David McFarland, she said that she understands and respects the decision, so she's not mad about it.
And I'm glad she does. And props to her for that, because when I'm also sure she has a lot of people online advocating for her. She recognizes it, and she's not letting them put a battery in her back and gaslight her. And she understands the situation. But props to her and mad respect for her for that. But as far as everybody else making all that noise online, like, cut the bullshit, because you're in a similar situation. You would not want to compete against somebody with a clear advantage over you. It just makes no sense. It's like Michael Phelps basically competing against women in whatever the whatever the fucking stroking shit he does. I don't know what they call it, but it just wouldn't be fair. Like Usain Bolt basically sets all kinds of track and field records, immense, track and field. So just imagine if he decided that he want to be Usain Bolt, transgender, and become a transgender woman and start competing against women. That would not be fair. I'm not saying that you're not a woman if you're trans. I'm not saying that. I could go into that, but it's not the podcast for that. And I don't want to, get canceled or anything like that. So
there's a law happening in Ohio.
Yeah, let me shut up before I have to edit out this part. So,
I mean, by a poll on Yahoo Sports, majority of people are saying no to transgender athletes versus women in the Olympics and stuff like that.
I
So
don't think it's. I think it's only fair. One thing, what I would love to see, what I would love to see. I know that some people might say, "Oh my God, like it's not being inclusive enough," but I think it'd be a great step if we just see just number transgender athletes compete against each other. Like, why not open it up? Like because like let's not pretend.
that's the first time I've heard of that idea. That's actually interesting.
Because like let's not pretend. You know what I'm saying? Like there's not like a clear advantage in the science being a transgender athlete against a person against like a cisgender man or cisgender woman. Like there's clear advantages. So why not just have like another category for like that particular community?
Because some people might deem it as being um, segregating uh, people, like transgender people from quote unquote normal people.
I can see how it might look that way, but also at the same time, like I for something like that, it just all depends how you look at it. It all depends how you look at it. But we've seen enough cases in sports where these just it just does not work. It doesn't work. You're basically I believe South Park they did like a parody episode on this exact thing where like they had like this man, he was like based like clearly a man, muscular based like the guys based on like Macho Man Randy Savage. And he was competing against cisgender women. He was dominating every single competition.
Yeah,
That
there was a distance runner, transgender distance runner who was doing studying transgender and all that stuff, and she found out that transgender women do get slower and weaker after the gender transition. So,
but
I
not
mean, that's the
slower,
other
but
side.
not slower enough. Clearly,
Yeah, clearly not enough.
not slower enough.
Just wanted to play devil's advocate, but yeah.
I get it, but you know what? We never really got a chance to like get your full thoughts on this. So where do you land on this?
I, the the good thing is I don't care about cancel culture. So, um, if if you decide to
You
change
sure
your
take your
gender,
time like you do,
yeah, because I'm trying to like word it correctly because the
but
words
you
are
don't
like
care. You don't care about cancel
no,
culture.
it's just like jumbled up in my mind. So if you want to change your gender, by all means, I support that.
I support that as
That's
well.
one of our rights as humans. Like we can do whatever we decide to do. But when it comes to playing sports and other activities, you're going to lose some benefits and you're going to gain some benefits when you transition. There's no doubt about that. And one of the benefits that you may lose is playing for your preferred gender sports team, whether it be college, high school, or the Olympics. It's one of those consequences that you have to take into effect because there is going to be a disadvantage. So that's the way I see it. You're going to lose some benefits, and one of the benefits is being able to play with your preferred gender sports team.
And for the record, like that's well, none of us here are transgender, you know.
No.
So, but we're not saying as transgender people, if you're a transgender person, that like you have no rights as far like to like integrate with like regular women or anything like that. That's not what we're saying. Because whether you're transgender, case may be, I feel like you should still be able to go to a women's
Yeah,
restroom.
we are solely talking about sports,
Exactly,
not lifestyle. We are solely talking about sports.
for sure.
You
So
don't want to see LeBron James taking a year off from sports and transitioning to a female and then going into the WNBA and dominating. That
for
would be
sure,
unfair.
exactly. And I feel like that's the best way to leave that. Perfect way to leave that. So with that said, we about reached the point of the show where it's about time for us to plug ourselves on our way out. So I'm gonna plug Noah Austin. You guys can find him at the Noah Austin on all social media platforms. Stay tuned for him as far like interviews coming up. As far like with his photography, he's been killing on the photography game, and I'm just overall proud of kid. I'm proud of our young Padawan. So shout out to Mo, and we'll have him back next week, and we'll see by next week's episode if the Atlanta Hawks they're still in this series, or if it's basically like the third eye is officially closed. They're just 1, 2, 3 Cancun. So now about time to plug yourself, Don.
You can find my social media down below. I'm actually taking a break from social media to focus on my writing and photography. So I might
Your
not be
writing's already
posting it.
great. Your writing's already great. Unless you talk about
Yeah,
that second book coming up.
yeah. Working on my book, putting a lot of
Okay, let's plug
photos
that.
and poems and stuff together. So yeah, you can follow all the updates on my social media right there.
That's for sure. Support my guy. Support my guy. Donovan, he's one of the MVPs here at True Agriculture. He's one of like the most impactful journalists that we've ever had. I'm not just saying it because he's my co-host, but I truly believe this. For someone that's been here for the past 6 years, this young man right here is truly one of the best.
Thank you. I
That we've ever
appreciate
featured.
that.
For sure. Could be potential future music editor here at True Agriculture one day. Once we get that budget right. Once we get that budget right.
Right.
And as for myself, you can find me at Ladale the Fashionista on Instagram. Also, I'd love for you guys if you love the t-shirt that I'm wearing. Hit up my boy Sean at Loyal to Life NYC. That's his ID to get your drip as far as with t-shirts, masks, because I know some of us still wearing that during this pandemic. Hats, hoodies, too hot for all that, but he got you covered as far as with the tees and all that stuff. So hit up my boy Sean at Loyal to Life NYC, to get that drip. Now, before we wrap up, I just want to go since we spent a lot of time on Becky Hammon. I want to say that I'm not trying this for all you Becky Hammon supporters or you feminists out there. I'm not saying that Becky Hammon should not be coaching in the NBA. I know it kind of sounded like I was saying that earlier. I'm just saying that she should pay her dues like all the other minority groups that have yet to have an opportunity. That's all I'm saying. So if that means going to college route. Go the college route. Show that you can lead a bunch of young men for about 2 to 3 years. Build up a recruiting class. Get to the NCAA tournament, get some results over there, and then come back to the NBA. Because I feel like I'm helping you, Becky. Yes, I feel like I'm helping you. It's saying this because
You
you're
don't want to
not.
say it because then they're going to say you're mansplaining.
I don't know what that means, but they got terms for everything nowadays. But I feel like I'm truly helping her because, like, okay, you're going on all these interviews, you're not getting the gig, you can't go back to the same seat because clearly, how much better could you get under Craig Palmer as assistant coach? Like, you're getting an interview, you're not getting a job. That means there's something extra that's not on your resume. So go out there, hit the college ranks if you had to. Oh shit, even go down to the G League. Maybe you don't have to go college. Go down to the G League. Let's see what happens there. So just a thought. But I know I'm a man and tell a woman what to do, so that ain't gonna fly. But it is what it is. It is what it is. But I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode. I know we kind of went a little bit over time as the producer, so I need to do a better job at time management. But I feel like the topics and discussion that we had was necessary, and hopefully you guys got some value out of it. If you have, and you made this far, please like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel. Help us out on our road to our first one to subscribe. We're almost there. We're almost there. If you're viewing this and you're not subscribed, then you can help us get there. So please do that. And also, just enjoy your day. Tune in tomorrow for Tuck Talk. Also, hope to see you on the gaming chair on our Twitch channel. The link to that will be in the description box of the video below. And enjoy the playoffs. And remember what I said, Becky. Remember what I said. Take care now. Have a good one. Peace.